Welcome to Is It Healthy, a podcast from Healthiest Radio. Our aim with this podcast is to bring all the latest news on natural, healthy, and sustainable products. We want to answer that basic question that we ask all the time. Is it healthy? We are highlighting the healthiest approved brands and experts that we hope you will all get to know.
Hello, everybody. This is our third episode of Is It Healthy? And today we are so excited that we get to talk to the founder of B&amp Laundry, Rachel Bollin. And she is going to tell us a little bit about her products and her story. And we have loved your products forever. So we're super excited to have you on the show. So hello. Thanks for joining, Rachel.
Hi. Sorry, I have weird allergy thing going on today.
Okay.
Of course.
No worries. We'll make it through. So I would love, we were just talking, earlier before the show about how you started, and I'd love to hear, how did this idea come to you, and what was your background in producing great laundry products?
So I actually had zero science background whatsoever, but I had a sales background. I had been a regional director of sales and had twins. So in 2012, I have my twin girls, Brooke and Nora, and my husband works for the local power company. And one of us decides that who's going to take care of these babies? We both travel for a living. And so I quit my job, sadly, because I absolutely adored it, but I literally traveled 2-3 times a month and just realized it wasn't going to work. As soon as you give birth, your whole outlook on life is complete.
I remember. I have 3 girls.
I'm not leaving these babies with strangers. So I quit my job and I'm immersed in motherhood. I've got no sleep every night. My husband's gone. They were 6 weeks old and he left for work, traveling for work for 3 months. And I'm completely alone, no nearby family, nothing. So I'm just completely immersed. And he comes home around November and I start to notice that something's not right. Mm-hmm. Tony is just not himself. He's not his bubbly, usual self. And I think, maybe he's just tired.
Right.
But to give you a little bit of background, he had already had 1 kidney transplant 18 years prior. So I kind of was suspicious that maybe that kidney had seen its time and was not going to be functioning much longer. But I was really in denial. I had not been managing his care. I let him manage his kidney, all of his medications, all of his doctor's appointments. I just really never got involved because he really had a handle on it. Mm-hmm. And I'm a mom of twins. I'm busy. And so I was totally in denial. And the twins turn 1 and we have a party for them. And about 4 days later, we all come down with the neurovirus. Mm-hmm. The twins get it first and I get it. And then Tony gets it. And unfortunately, it sends him into the hospital. And after a series of weeks of probably guessing that we're in a lot of trouble, sure enough, the doctors tell him your kidney is done. You're going to have to go back on dialysis and go back and wait for a kidney transplant. Mm-hmm. So I'm all in at this point. I am. And
we were with him when he had his first kidney transplant as well.
No, I had not even met him. I met him after he had his transplant. Mm-hmm. And just really knew nothing about it. I mean, I didn't know what creatinine was. I didn't know how to read blood work results. I knew nothing. I was so naive. And I was really embarrassed when I would say, I think my husband's kidneys failed. And they'd say, what is this number? What is that? And I couldn't answer.
Right. Well, you're not a doctor. So as far as I understand, so I wouldn't imagine you had to.
Exactly. Yeah. Just a salesperson, right? So I get completely immersed. So I'm immersed in the twins and I'm immersed in saving my husband's life. What am I going to do so that the twins never end up having kidney issues? So they would go to bed at 7, 8 o'clock at night. I would stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning, just researching everything. And I quickly discovered all the chemicals that are in our home, in our environment, and everything that contributes to something like kidney failure. We don't know why his kidney failed at the start, but we're suspicious that it was a chemical he was using at work.
Interesting. You know, I always use this reference with regard to chemicals and chemicals in our environment and chemicals in our products. And again, this is sort of the ethos of Healthiest, is how to pick healthy products that are chemical free, or at least dangerous chemicals. And I feel like there's a body burden that your body can only handle so much. And there are things you can control and there's things that you can't. But at least if we can help consumers try to control the things that they can by picking healthy products, then at least we're helping the body burden. Do you know what I mean? Like there's only so much that we can do.
That was probably the biggest turning point, is an article that I read that said you cannot control the chemicals once you leave your home. So what you need to do is focus on what you can control in your home, everything you can do. And that will help you immensely. So I go crazy. Yeah. I'm making vinegar sprays for crops. I'm doing everything. And I start making my own laundry soap. I'm making my own laundry soap from a recipe I find online, and it's horrible. It just does not clean. Everything looks dingy. And I don't know why I was so obsessed with this, but I kept experimenting and trying to get this laundry soap right.
Right.
One day I'm on Facebook and this woman in nearby town posts that she's got goat milk soap for sale. So I'm like, hey, I wonder. I buy a bar from her, drive down, meet her, buy like 3 bars. She thinks I'm crazy and I'm going to put it in laundry soap, I tell her. And she's like, what? So sure enough, I shave it into my other ingredients. Give it a whirl, and I'm like completely blown away. I'm like, oh my gosh, this laundry soap is amazing.
Oh, that's so great. That's so great.
Such a fun turning moment. And so remember, I'm in sales, right? So I've been in sales for 20 something years. So I'm like, I could sell this. I could sell this. So,
well, you're an entrepreneur. You saw an opportunity.
This opportunity. I'm like, so I try it a little bit. I add some essential oils. Okay. I discover about all the cleaning elements in lemon. Okay, that's a natural cleaner. I'm using it in the vinegar spray I got going on. I'm putting the laundry soap. I learn about eucalyptus. I learn about lavender. So I put it in the ingredients, and then I put them in a mason jar and set them on the front porch. So I tell my neighbors, $4 mason jar. I can't even remember. I read a cute little note on it.
Why? So you just left it on your front porch?
I left it on my front porch, and I would tell the local Facebook page. We had a neighborhood where everybody knew sneezed, right? So I put it on the porch, and I would say, leave the money under the mat. And then if you bring me back the jar, you get $1 off.
Oh my gosh. And remind me where you live.
So we've moved since, but that was in South Corona, California. So almost Lake Elsinore.
Okay, great.
In this cute community, and everybody knew everybody. And I still have some of my best friends in the whole world I met there. So
how many people were picking up jars every week?
20 a week.
Wow.
20. And they would tell their friends, and their friends would tell their friends. But then people started, because I started doing fundraisers, and I was trying to find Tony a living donor at the same time. Wow. At the same time, I have a Facebook page for Tony, searching for a living donor, still raising the twins, obviously. Now I've created this company. I think I'm still tired from it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you give a busy mom more to do, and then she gets more done. It's unbelievable.
Yes. I'm better.
Yeah, because you didn't. So were you using the proceeds of your business to help, raise money for your husband's kidney?
Yeah, because he was, the breadwinner. I had quit my job, and now he's on disability, right. And so he had a ton of coworkers who gave up their paid time off, their sick days or their vacation days to us, so that we would have a complete paycheck.
Oh my gosh.
On top of Social Security. And so, I sold everything. We had nice sport bikes, like that we never rode anymore.
Yeah.
Sold those. I sold anything and everything that was in the garage. And now I was selling the laundry soap and just trying to keep the family afloat. Had a 401k, had to cash it out, whatever I could do so my kids wouldn't lose the house.
Oh my God. You're like a saint. And, I've been using the statistic when I talk about the bigger vision of healthiest and things that we're aiming for. The single biggest source of bankruptcy in the United States is healthcare costs. That is the number one reason families go bankrupt. And you can see why, because there's the double-edged sword. You can't work and you have these huge hospital bills, even if some of it's covered. So kudos to you. That is amazing. So tell me, so what happened after you've got these 20 jars a week, probably now at 50 jars a week? What happens next?
So we go up to my mom's house in Napa and tell her, we think we've got something. My mom's an artist. And so we spend an entire week coming up with the official logo, the original logo. My mom draws it out on a piece of paper and we're like, yeah, jars are too expensive to ship. What are we going to do? What are we going to put it in? And I said, it has to be unique. So we come up with this flour sack concept. And so from there, it just takes legs. I end up applying for a business loan. My mom draws the first logo. I build a website and it just has, legs. And it's fun at this point. It's super, super fun.
Most of your sales, yeah. And I mean, well, it is fun when you start to see things grow and the fruits of your labor. And was your most of your sales, let's say after the porch sales, was that mostly direct from your website or were you selling to stores? What happened?
So it was mostly from my website. And then I entered a farmer's market. On a very dreary January. It was raining. It was my first farmer's market. And then about 3 months into farmer's market, one day I get there and there's a line of people waiting to buy my laundry soap.
Oh my God, that's so exciting.
What is happening? And I become like the most popular booth at this local farmer's market.
And how big, about how much laundry soap were they buying? It's powder, right? Or is it liquid? It's powder.
Yeah. So when you compare to what we make today, it was like nothing. But at that time, I was doing 50 bags of laundry soap on a Saturday, at least. And then I would turn around on a Sunday and go to the next farmer's market and do another 50. So it's like 100 bags a week, which we're still at this point putting it in a bucket and literally hand mixing at this point, right? So it's very...
And so you were doing this from your house. You were making it in your house.
Yeah, in the garage.
And how much quantity? What would you relate? How many loads would someone do? It was a week's worth, or were they buying?
So they were buying 3 weeks worth, almost a month's worth of laundry. Because I think at that time it was the 45 or the 60 wash size. So it was getting them through a month. So it would be sometimes I'd have a really, really busy Saturday, and then it'd be a couple of weeks before someone was coming back to buy more. And
that's what I was going to say. It's so interesting because it's not the same 50 were coming every week. It sounds like there was, rotating every 3 weeks. So I'm curious when you started to make this, how did you pick what ingredients? Because it's goat's milk is the base. Is that right?
Right. So goat's milk, and after a ton of research discovering that goat milk is really high in fat, it has the same pH as our skin. And I thought, well, would do the same thing for your clothes. So not to mention whatever touches your skin, your laundry, your clothes that you just washed is going to touch your skin, and whatever you heat up, it's going to go into your pores. So what's going to happen here?
You know what's so interesting about that, Rachel, is that we talk about shower filters a lot, and the moment where you're in the shower and your pores are opening, and then whatever chemicals are in the water, or hopefully, and contaminants, it goes right into your pores, and then it's your biggest organ is your skin.
Yes.
And so I think about that too. So you're right. People sleep on their sheets and they put their clothes on, and all day long they're having chemical exposure. And even at night, like you just said, you probably sweat at night. Your pores are open. Wow. So you picked goat milk, and where did you, was it hard to find goat milk? Was it hard to find the quality you wanted?
First it was, I was, working with the lady who I bought the first bars from. but then she couldn't keep up with my demand because it would take like 6 weeks to cure. So I started reaching out, and I would sit at night and just research vendors for hours and hours. So I finally found a source in Northern California, and we still use them. They're absolutely amazing. They only work with, they don't sell to the general public. They sell to companies that didn't turn around and, use their ingredients and such. And they're amazing and kind and small business like me. And they still make the stain stick, and they still provide the base soap for.
Yeah. So let's talk about, so you expanded your line. So you started with a laundry soap. What was the next thing that you guys made?
Dryer balls were next.
I love those. I love those. And that's made out of what kind of wool? Where did you find the wool?
Originally I was just buying it online. Now I have a partnership with a man in Nepal, and I absolutely adore him because his values and his goal in life is to have employment for the women of Nepal.
Wow.
Very limited, and so that there's safe working conditions for the women of Nepal. There's so few jobs for them. I was just smitten by his story, and he's amazing. But originally, we made the dryer balls. Tony would be home from dialysis, and he would make a lot of the first dryer balls we ever sold. And it would take forever. It would take hours. And then I tried.
Yeah, and for anyone that's listening, I don't know. Some people don't know what dryer balls are, but why did you make those second? Did someone ask you guys? And what I believe they're used for is to help have the laundry dry faster because they separate the clothes, right? And they also make them smell better. But did someone ask you guys to make that, or?
So in researching, I discovered that the worst product you can ever use are dryer sheets.
Right. And I want to just share that the way that the Healthiest browser extension works is we show swaps, right? If you can swap this out for that. And those dryer sheets are like some of the sort of highest volume. I mean, most families, and they smell like really strong, which is all chemical smells, right? So that's so interesting. So you figured out that was like a really toxic part of what was in households.
So Tony used to put like 3 to 5 in every single whenever he did his laundry. He loved them. And I was just started researching, and what happens is they're a heat activated chemical. So when your clothes heat up in the dryer sheets heat up, and then that chemical, that fragrance, and whatever else is in it goes on your clothes. Now, if you're outside, you're walking around, and you heat up, and that same chemical goes into your pores. So it circles right back to what you were saying before.
Yeah. Interesting. And so now you have the laundry soap, which is that still sort of the primary sale is of laundry soap?
It is, but my most popular item is my stain stick. So at that point, I've got the dryer balls, I've got the laundry soap, and I know I need a stain remover. And I know it's got to be different than anything else on the market.
Okay.
And I want it to be special, and I want it to work, and I want moms, because at this point the twins are 2, and I'm in stain land, right?
Yes.
I'm in stain land. I've got it coming from, they're outside now. They've got food. They're eating food. I need a stain remover that is going to knock the socks off of my friends, because we all had little kids at that point. So I know I want to use the goat milk, and I know I want to use the soap. And so I just couldn't figure it out. And then one morning I woke up and said to Tony, I just invented a stain stick.
In your sleep? You invented it in your sleep?
Yes, I did.
That's so great. I mean, and so with this, at this point, are people still buying them from your porch, or have you completely moved to an online platform?
They're either buying off the website. I'm getting website orders. I'm doing farmers markets, and then I'm in at this point 5 or 6 stores that found me at farmers markets.
And is it still just you and Tony at this point?
Oh, yes.
Oh my goodness.
And he's at this point we're knee deep in testing living donors. We're at UCLA constantly, still trying to find him a living donor. I'm managing our Facebook page for that.
And raising twins.
And raising
and so when did, right. And so when did you, not to fast forward too much, but when we connected, you guys were already part of a bigger company. And what happened between, going from, all you, did you hire people at some point? Did you have some help?
Yes. So I finally got to a point where I got my business loan. We moved out of the garage. I had 3 or 4 women who worked with me, and they were amazing. And so what would happen is they would pick up a box of the stain sticks, and then stain sticks would need the wool. So they would take them home, and I would pay them per stain stick to put the wool on the stain stick and felt it, because it's quite a process.
Yes, I have one, so I know. And I hope that all the listeners go out and get them. They're amazing.
They're amazing. So I had women who are doing stain sticks. So I've got like 4 or 5 women doing stain sticks, and I've got like 3 women who work with me. And then I have my good friend who's doing my accounting, and she probably still thinks my books are the worst books that she ever had, because math and I are not friends. And it's just growing. And I go to the Natural Products Expo in Anaheim.
And what year was that, Rachel? What year was that?
So that had to be 2015. Okay. 2015. I go as a new vendor, and we get picked up by Albertsons.
Wow.
It's their smaller store back east, their test store. And I get picked up by Albertsons, and the buyer stands in front of me and says, "Don't change anything ever."
Wow.
And Target comes to me and says, "We want you." And a few other larger stores. I got Amazon business coming out my ears, and I'm like, I cannot keep up with demand.
Right.
And I couldn't afford to pay my business loan and my workers and buy supplies. And I had multiple partnerships that would fall through. I had investors who were acting like they were going to 100% come on board, and I almost got gypped by them, and that fell through. And one day it was 115 degrees.
Not that you remember it. It sounds like pretty imprinted in your brain.
I was absolutely miserable. I'm lifting the bags of products into the mixer by myself. I'm tired. My kids, I feel like they're just like, they don't know me. All they know is dryer balls, stain sticks, and laundry soap.
Right.
And I get a phone call from a company in Pomona, California, and they had bought a stain stick and loved it. And then after a little bit of negotiation, I decided that I would go ahead and sell them the business.
Oh my goodness. And so did you feel, was there ever a time when before that happened, like as all this is going on, you're paying for inventory and shipping, that you were scared, that you were like, oh my God, I don't know.
Yes. So the thing is, if I had kept it small and just sold things on the porch and on the website, I would have made more money, and it would have been more manageable. But I wanted to grow because I felt like I had an amazing product that people deserved to know about.
Yeah. You had a mission.
I remember my husband and I sitting out front. Now, at this point, he had his kidney. He'd gone back to work. And I was making everything alone. I was trying to cut back staff because I couldn't pay them anymore. And so I didn't have his help either. And I had like I needed to pay multiple bills.
Right.
On the verge of tears. And we both sat there, and he's like, "Don't worry, I got it. Well, we'll fix it. We'll be able to make it this month." So I'm like, "What about next month? What about the following month? What am I going to do?"
And it's so amazing because, really all entrepreneur stories. And I work with, I have a group of female CEOs that I work with, and I've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs over the years. And the amount of just grit and like fortitude and sort of stick-to-itiveness that you have is amazing. And also that you, like you said, you could kind of stop. He'd had his kidney. He went back to work. You could have maybe slowed down, but you felt compelled to get this out into the world, which, we're all really happy about. And, I think what's so amazing so you sold to Kittredge, is that right?
Yeah.
And were you on their radar for a while, or did they just one day kind of find you and right then they were ready?
So I don't know the real true background. the woman who approached me said she had bought the stain stick a year prior and had thought about it, and it sat on her desk. And then finally she thought she was going to reach out. So, but the sale was very quick. So we negotiated for, a couple of weeks or so. And then it was done. But Kittredge, that's one of their things. So they own contact paper. Mm-hmm. And then they own EcoMe and EcoSmart, and they own Little Twig. And so he's kind of a serial company purchaser.
And how long ago was that? What year was that?
That was September 6th, 2016.
And you have an amazing memory. So you do. And has it, what we worry about a lot of times, like when Procter and Gamble buys, a healthy brand, do they keep the ingredients the same? How do you know that the supply chain hasn't changed? And were you worried about that? And how have you been able to kind of make sure that the products are what you started out to make?
Yes. So, I was very naive, going into the process. But I'm still on board. I go to work every day.
All right.
And nothing gets changed. Well, nothing's been changed. Everything's exactly the same. But they don't do anything without asking me.
That's so great.
The owner truly has B&N, which is now called Brick and Nora at Home's best interest in mind. I'm getting ready to roll out. I actually go in tomorrow to teach everyone how to make our newest product, which has been like 2 years in the making. And so everything that we roll out, I still make or invent or work with whatever company we need to outsource it to on every single ingredient. And
tell me, are you allowed to say what your new product is or no? Is that
sure? Yeah. Okay. So I've been working on this forever. There is no liquid goat milk laundry detergent on the market.
Gotcha.
It's so been really, really hard to get right because it had to have so many ingredients in order so that the goat milk wouldn't separate from the rest of the liquid. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't have a science background. Right. And they're like, can you invent this? Sure.
Yeah, that's so, it's so nice to have support because it sounds like you're still able to be on your mission, build, develop great products. And a lot of, what I found is a lot of the brands that we work with, and we have about 6,000 different brands that we've met over the years and that are just doing amazing things. One of our last podcasts was someone who makes a tummy drop for nausea, all natural. And it's just a passion of his. He's a GI doc. People are so passionate about what they do. And so to know that you have this commitment to continuing to develop products because you're an innovator, like you have figured out ways to sort of meet the demands of consumers. And, it's interesting that you brought up the dryer sheets and, it's traditional because I was pitching to a venture capitalist not long ago. And he said, but I really love Tide. I love the way it smells. It reminds me of my childhood. And I said, well, I'm not going to tell you what you should wash your clothes with, but I can tell you that there's a market full of people who deeply care about their products and their product selection and making sure that the values of those products and those brands meet theirs and that they're worried about the dangers of these chemicals and they're trusting brands to bring great products. And so when I meet, brands like yours, and by the way, I love Little Twig, which is also a Kittredge brand. Yeah. And most of their products actually meet our standards as well. I really feel like your story needs to be told, which is one of the reasons I wanted to speak with you, is that I am so impressed that you've dedicated your life. And it sounds like you went into debt and gave up a lot of time to build these products.
Yes, I did. I actually paid my business loan off 2 weeks ago, which was awesome.
Woo-hoo! Congratulations.
And I would not have been able to do that if I hadn't sold it. But it's really important to me. And because it's got the twins' names on it, that it stays true to its, what the concept and the values from my family, because it's got their name on it. And so I just keep trucking along and, no situation is perfect, but we work really well together, and I've got amazing support.
That's so good.
Yeah. And right behind the liquid detergent is our bar soap, finally.
Like shower soap, like to use every day.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Great.
Yes.
That's so exciting. Well, I really appreciate your time today. I really appreciate what you've done and the products that you've built. And I'm telling you, like, I have the dryer balls, I use the stain stick. And when we found your products, we may have met back in 2015, because that's when we were at the Natural Products Expo in Anaheim, and then sort of followed along with the products. And we just are so impressed with what you've done. Keep it up. Keep inventing new products for the market. But I hope all the listeners to give it a shot and check it out, and log on to healthiest.io so that you can find all these healthy products when you're on Amazon. And then also your products are still available on your website, correct?
Yes, they're still on the site on Amazon, and they're on bedbathandbeyond.com right now.
Great. And what is your website?
It's still B&amp.com.
Okay, great. Well, thank you again. I'm so excited about what you're doing. I'm going to go out and get your new products. I feel like I'm the first to know. And I just, and I'm so happy to hear that your husband is doing better. And, that how old are your twins now?
The twins are 7. They're getting ready to start 2nd grade.
My goodness. Well, congratulations. Thank you again. And let's just keep it growing. Keep it going. Good for you. And so you're making the world a healthier place. So thank you, Rachel.
Thank you. Back at you.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Is It Healthy podcast. Be sure to visit healthiest.io to join the conversation, access show notes, and download our free browser extension that helps you find all the healthiest approved products while you shop.